blackout in 2 minutes. What do we do?
Well, luckily for you, Optimus Incorporated has a solution.
We are Optimus Incorporated, presented by Brian Molina-Rivas,
Sanvi Nukla,
Robert Flores,
and I'm Justin Depp. So how does the power grid work? The power grid starts with energy being produced at a power plant. The energy from a power plant is led to a step-up transformer where it is converted to higher voltage. This high voltage energy is transported with power lines to communities where it's stepped down and then dispersed to homes.
Now, as my colleague here has mentioned, there are many benefits to a modern power grid. But after consulting a GIS technician and expert, Anthony Vasquez, we have come to the conclusion that there are many downsides to this as well. For example, the modern power grid applies an excessive amount of workload on electrical operators now. And it does this in the sense of applying an excessive amount of AMI and unprocessed data, which they can't process without the PIC. We have innovated the PIC, the Predictive Intelligence Consultant, which will indicate or which will gather inputted data from the AMI and AMR meters to process it and output decision-making data that will help and consult the electrical operators.
Now, how do we train the PIC? The PIC is trained on past information for future employees to use. So what this means is that current employees will have years of experience, 10 to 20 years even. So the PIC will take all that decisions that they've made using all their experience and put it in a database. Then we train the PIC with this database so that the PIC is also able to get this 10 to 20 years of experience. It'll also have experience down the line as well.
Now, how will this actually be implemented? Now, on the left here, you see the current generation, which is how it is already. The raw voltage data, which is formed from different AMI smart meters. All of this information is gathered into a data set in which the SCADA system compiles all of this data and makes it readable. For the GIS, which is a pretty much human mapping system that acts as a visual aid for all humans to look at. Now, with the new generation, with our implementation of PIC, we take this matched voltage data and through the machine learning model trained on past humans' decisions, we're able to create more and improved decision making. Now, benefits. Now, with our PIC, this increases the efficiency of decision making for all of our power grids. How does this work? Now, on the right and the left here, you see the SCADA and GIS models, right? On the left here, you see a plethora of information. You see all these different colors. It might be difficult for a human to comprehend, or maybe to take in all of this information, all of it in its entirety, and pretty much make an informed decision about it. What's different about our machine learning model, PIC, is the fact that it is a machine learning model specifically called Bayesian optimization, which was researched by studies in universities such as even near here, UCR, where it takes all of this information, it processes it in a matter of seconds through millions of iterations, and in that time, it's able to make it much more efficient and much more accurate than that of a human.
Each year, 50 linemen die in the job.
Now, this is especially important because safety is the #1 priority, and considering that companies can lose a lot of money ranging from $200,000 to $500,000. Plus, Edison also does something regarding the safety to their employees' bonuses. Every employee can have 10 to 20% of their bonuses rescinded for every lineman that gets injured on the job. This can result in potentially millions of dollars in employees and them losing their benefits.
And what's also important is that the implementation of AI is only going to skyrocket in the future, which means while not making up for these effectiveness, it's still very effective and very accurate, but it's one of those things that are extremely cheap.
Now, Optimus thanks you. Now, back to the blackout.
Whoa, I now know exactly what to do to make sure there isn't a power outage, and this is because Pig gave me the right decision.
Man, I wish our control centers had the same pig.
And time is done.
All right. Great job, you guys. I'm going to hand this over to our judges for any questions.
Okay, well, I've got questions. As a lineman, this is exciting stuff. So, when you say that PIC can help out with decision making, right? Because AMI meters, these are the meters that are plugged into people's houses and residences and commercial buildings and all that. And then, you guys were talking about GIS, and as Mr. Bournes was talking about in the presentation the other day, about how GIS can overlay other information. I'm presuming that by decision making, like you're talking about, okay, this meter, comes from this transformer. So one, perhaps being able to isolate and troubleshoot like the source of a power failure.
Right.
Right, because if these meters are common, then we could say it's over there, and otherwise, like you said, people have to call in to say something. So that's really cool.
Right.
And then also, the implementation of GIS, being able to overlay, these different raw data. Like, okay, you could see power failures, but then also like cable failures. And then like you could have a data range set of like, oh, there's been all these outages in this area. Seems like it's time to upgrade this cable going through.
Right.
This is really cool.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. I have two questions. One, first, so would your product, your technology replace positions, do you think?
No, I think it would be more so used to help out the new employees. Again, this is considering Gen X and baby boomers. Right now, they make up a lot of the public utilities workforce, and they're bound to retire in the next couple of years. So when they retire, again, they're losing all their previous experience. Now, the new employees, they might not have had enough time to be trained by them. So using the PIC, they'd be able to make decisions that they might not have made.
Thank you. What was your, you want to answer it as well?
Yeah, so adding on to that, this is part of like the naming process where the C stands for consulting. We didn't really intend for PIC to I guess like replace or take the position of someone already doing this job. We would like it to just help them in completing their job, getting that workload, like I mentioned earlier, taking that excessive workload and downing it, to a possible size.
This is also because PIC is a machine learning model, right? So it's able to calculate more parameters than a human can, which is why it would be great as an assistant.
Okay. I don't, can they keep answering? Is that
Yeah.
Do you want me to, my last question is, what was your spark of how did you come up with this?
Yeah. Okay, so the spark kind of started in the beginning when I think Mr. Lawrence mentioned, think of AI and new technology, progressive technology, because now that we, get further in age, we are seeing AI more, excessively in today's, technologies and everything. So we wanted to incorporate that. So, we can't necessarily call this entire innovation like AI, just because it also uses predictive algorithms, and that's not, really AI.
Yeah, and something else I also want to add is the fact that the feasibility of it, there's something called predictive analysis, which is already used in the machine learning models. And using predictive analysis, this was already something sort of implemented into it, but it's not used in our specific aspect that we mentioned. And also, at least for my personal thing, kind of like that spark, one of the main things was, usually sometimes I go to UCR, right, and then we have this internship program. So when we're talking with professors, there's so many different people learning new things about machine learning, right? And the fact that it's kind of one of my personal interests, which is why when I heard about it, I was like, Oh, I was super excited to talk about it because I was well versed in it. That this is a feasible model that could truly be implemented in the next maybe 2 to 3 years, depending on how much AI and machine learning already skyrocketed.
All right. Thank you, Team 5, for your wonderful answers. And as Team 5 exits, I will introduce Team 7. Team 7.
Hello?
All right, our mics are on, and we're ready. Our dynamic duo, Team 7.